Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about the most powerful yet totally invisible force inside any company. It's the one thing that can make or break you, but you are never, ever going to find it on a balance sheet.
So let me just ask you this. What do you think a company's greatest asset really is? Is it their fancy tech? Their patents? Maybe all the cash they have in the bank? We're all taught to think about these tangible things, but the real answer, it's something way more human.
And that answer is trust. Simple as that. It's the invisible currency that fuels every single conversation, every project, and every big idea. And you just can't buy it. You can't write a memo that forces people to trust you. And believe me, once it's gone, getting it back is a massive uphill battle.
Okay, so to really get how trust is built, we've got to look at one of the all-time best examples, the story of Howard Schultz and Starbucks. Now, this isn't really about coffee. It's about a leader who figured out the secret sauce. To get trust, you have to give it first. It's always, always a two-way street. This quote from Schultz just nails it. You see, when he first pitched his vision for a coffee shop chain, the original founders of Starbucks actually said no. They didn't trust his idea. So when he eventually bought the company, he knew that his #1 job was to build trust from the ground up with everyone. And he didn't just talk a big game. He actually built systems to create that trust. First, he started calling his employees partners, which completely changed how they saw themselves. Then he offered health insurance, even to part-timers, which was just unheard of back then. He even gave them stock options, making them literal owners of the business. Through all these actions, he was sending a clear message. I trust you to build this company with me. And what did he get in return? Their fierce loyalty and their absolute best work. So what happens when you actually build that kind of trust? Well, the rewards are just huge. And we're not just talking about warm, fuzzy feelings. This creates a serious competitive advantage. Just look at the legendary hotel chain, the Ritz-Carlton.
Get this, at the Ritz-Carlton, every single employee, I'm talking from the front desk staff to the person cleaning your room, has the power to spend up to $2,000 per guest to fix a problem. Right there, on the spot. No need to call a manager. That is a policy that just screams absolute trust in your team's judgment.
And this is where the thinking completely flips. That $2,000, it's not seen as a cost, it's an investment. Think of it like insurance against a 1-star review, a customer you'll never see again, and a trashed reputation. By trusting their people to be problem solvers instead of just rule followers, that investment pays for itself over and over again.
You see the exact same thing playing out at Costco. The retail industry is famous for its insane employee turnover. We're talking over 75% a year. But at Costco, it's less than 10%. And why is that? It's simple. They invest in their people. They pay almost double the minimum wage and have great benefits. This isn't charity. It's just smart business that creates a loyal, experienced, and happy workforce.
And all of this kind of builds up to this incredible idea of employee ownership. The grocery chain Publix is the perfect example. When an employee actually owns stock in the company, they don't just walk past a messy aisle. They see wasted profit. They don't just blindly follow some procedure. They're actively looking for ways to do it better. Ownership completely transforms their mindset because, hey, the company's success is literally their success. But what happens when you go down the other path? What happens when a culture is built not on trust, but on fear? Well, the results can be absolutely catastrophic. We're talking destroying value, reputations, and sometimes even people's lives. The Wells Fargo scandal is a brutal case study. It all started with this crazy sales quota called the 8 is great strategy. When employees tried to tell leadership, hey, these goals aren't possible, they were punished. This shoot the messenger culture gave them one option, cheat. And the result? Millions of fake accounts, billions in fines, and a total collapse of public trust. And if you think that's bad, the story gets even darker with Theranos. In this case, a culture of secrecy and pure intimidation wasn't just about money. It was about covering up faulty technology that put real patients' lives on the line. Any employee who dared to question the science was shut down. Fear had completely taken the place of truth.
So you see, it really boils down to these two completely different paths. On one side, you got the servant leader, like Herb Kelleher at Southwest, who would literally be out there loading baggage with his team to understand their jobs. And on the other, you've got the blame gamers, like the Toys R Us execs who blame their store managers for losing to Amazon, all while they refuse to build a decent website. One builds trust, the other just passes the buck.
So we've seen these two paths laid out pretty clearly. One is built on a foundation of trust, the other on a foundation of fear.
And at the end of the day, leadership is a mirror. The culture you end up with is just a reflection of the choices you're making every single day.
The ultimate expression of trust-based leadership is this idea of stewardship. It's this belief that you're a caretaker of something much bigger than yourself. Yvon Chouinard at Patagonia embodied this in the most incredible way. He gave his entire company away. He didn't see it as his property to sell off, but as a tool to serve a mission. He literally made Earth our only shareholder. That is the highest level of trust you can possibly place in a mission.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Every single leader, doesn't matter what level you're at, you're holding up a mirror. Your actions, your words, the culture you build, it all reflects something back to your team. So what will your mirror show? Will it be trust or will it be fear? The choice is always yours.